Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And
Hello.
thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to be in traffic to get here, but it's okay because we're here. So these are some of the artists that you will be seeing at the Holiday Harvest of Art happening this Sunday from 2 to 6. There's no need to get up early. It starts at 2, and it's going to be at the Denton Women's Club. So we have Chad Duckworth, who works in metal. With metal, not in metal. You work with metal. We have Leslie Kregel, yes, who does beautiful wool art, and Al Key, photographer. So thank you all for being here. And yeah, I think if we're going to do this one by one so we don't talk over each other, but Chad, tell us a little bit about what you do, when you got started, and that whole spiel.
Oh, when I got started, well, my sculpture career, I guess you would say, started when I gave up on theater and walked across campus and talked to the art department at TWU and just switched. But it was I just like to make things. I don't care what it is. You give me a hammer and a couple sticks and I'll make something out of it. I guess you would consider me a little bit of a traditionalist or a neoclassicist because I prefer craftsmanship. If being a craftsman is good enough for Michelangelo, it's good enough for me. Mm-hmm. So if I'm working in steel or something like that, I'm more of a modernist. I like geometric shapes juxtaposed and balance and the 5 elements of design. But now I'm working more, I guess you would say, functional. For this show, I'll be doing some sheet metal copper, some poured copper, poured aluminum, a little bit of wood mixed with poured aluminum, and some repurposed stuff. So I'm bringing a wide variety of things to this show.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. I guess that's why I hit it off with Randall Good, is because I have a great, I guess, love for the tradition, for the classics of art.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like it's very limited now,
Well, contemporary has moved away, in my opinion, not everybody, but it's kind of moved away from craftsmanship to more of, I don't know how to describe it.
But
it's kind of that way, But there's a lot of good contemporary art out there. It's just I prefer to work with my hands, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as opposed to with a mouse click.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to say
it. And Leslie, tell us a little bit about your creations.
Well, what I'm working in right now are mixed media fibers. I do a lot of repurposing textiles right now. I got into it by accident. I used to take this one sweater backpacking all the time. It was wonderful. It was this great wool. I wore it every trip I went on. And then it accidentally got in the washer and the dryer, and it came out like half the size that very small. And so rather than just throw it away, I thought, I'm going to do something with this. And a friend mentioned, oh yeah, I've seen people making all kinds of things out of that. So I looked at one of my husband Shannon's hats, and I thought, this is simple. This is like a rectangle stitched together onto a circle. I can do that. And so it all kind of started there. And then I started going and buying sweaters and washing them and drying them on purpose and shrinking them on purpose.
That's awesome.
And so now I have like a whole wall full of sweaters that have been washed and shrunken sweaters. But I was teaching at the time, and I spent 23 years in the public schools teaching. And so it sort of overlapped with the last few years of my teaching. And so when I retired, I rewired and just became a studio artist.
That's awesome.
And so, most of what I do is really a wintertime product. And so, this is the time of year when I'm doing shows and I'm in the studio and I'm shipping orders. And so it kind of, once it starts getting warm, people don't really like to even look at wool.
Right.
So I ship it off to places where it's a little bit colder, but I have a lot of customers in this area that even though my company is called Cimarrona, and it comes from the place I used to backpack to with that favorite sweater.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's called Cimarrona, but people usually just call them Leslie hats. And I've always had a button that I've stitched onto the back of the hat with a little red thread. And so,
That's Leslie.
like, sometimes I'll see people walking by and I'll say, hey, that looks like one of my hats. And if they go by and I see the back of their head and I see that little button, it's like, yeah,
That's me.
That's one of them.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't usually run up to them and say, hey,
I made
that hat. Because that's kind of strange. But I have been tempted to at times.
Right. You should be proud.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what I do.
yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And so, can we see a little bit of your
Oh
little-
yeah, the camera. Well, this is just a little bag. You know, I have a couple of designs where I just do a real simple little bag, and I try to use every bit of the sweater so I don't have a whole lot of waste.
Uh-huh.
And so even small pieces get incorporated into some of the embellishments. And then this is a kid's hat.
That's so cute.
You know, a fox design.
And it has that little button.
And it has the button, yeah, right there with the red thread. And they're lined with fleece, so they're real soft. Because I'm not a wear wool against my skin
Right.
kind of person, because it can be really itchy. And then this is kind of a new style. Yeah, can you see this on the radio? I don't think so.
I mean, on the video you will. Yeah.
But this looks sort of like what you might see a little forest elf wearing, and it's got
That's
a
so
little point on
cute.
the top, but it's a hat that's made. You can see it's made from a cable knit sweater with other types of embellishment on
That's
it.
really-
But,
It's like a little hood. If you don't
It's
have a
a
hood,
hood.
just put it on,
yeah,
button it.
there you go.
There's her red button.
Yeah, I guess
And
we
then-
can't try these on with these
Yeah.
things on our heads, but anyway, you got the idea there.
Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
that's what that is. Yeah.
Very cool. And Al, photographer, you were a photojournalist.
For 30 years.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed kind of keeping a photographic history of Denton. I worked for the Denton Record Chronicle for 30 years. But
That's awesome.
I'm also an avid storm chaser. That's my hobbies are wildlife photography
Yeah,
and
let's see that.
and storm photography, and specifically lightning is one of my favorite, that's what I specialize in.
Uh-huh.
I actually got my start in photography when I was 14. My father bought me my first camera because he wrote college meteorological textbooks. He was an English professor at North Texas, and he had been a pilot in the Air Force and had meteorological training, and the publishing company wanted him to supply photos for his textbooks, and so he bought me a camera when I was 14, and we went out and shot cloud tops. I think we became some of the first storm chasers.
That's awesome.
That was around 1970, and I've just been an avid storm chaser ever since, and I've kind of, like I said, specialized in the lightning aspect of it. I do also all kinds of wildlife photography. I enjoy birds and raptors, but I consider myself a moment photographer, which is what the essence of
Photography.
lightning is,
Right.
you know.
Well,
especially.
yeah, even that. And I feel like that's even more challenging because you're like sitting there and you're like, I'm going to get the perfect moment. Am I?
Right. So I never let a storm pass anywhere in Denton County without going out to try to see if I can catch it. I've actually been struck by lightning when I was out
Really?
there once. I made it.
Did you get any special powers from it?
Oh, I got some Lichtenberg's marks on my back from where the current ran
Oh my
over my
God.
back. For it's faded in time. That was back in the early '80s. But I've developed safer methods as I went along, and I was able to purchase equipment that longer lenses, telephoto lenses, that I didn't have to get so close to the storms anymore. And I developed more studied meteorology at A&M, and so I'm more versed and trained as a storm chaser now. And but I really enjoy that, and but I do a lot of other kinds of photography too. I love the raptors, like I say. This is a caracara, the Mexican eagle.
That's awesome.
And it's a pretty rare bird. In fact, this is the only one that's ever been seen in Denton County.
Really?
Yeah, I got a email from the Audubon that told me that they had never had any sightings of caracaras in Denton County.
Here, do you want to hold that up? Yeah, right there.
that's the bird that's on the Mexican
How cool.
flag.
Eating the serpent.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so your previous photograph was a winner of the Thin Line Photography Contest, right?
Correct. It was the best of show in the last year's Thin
is
Line
very
Photo
cool.
Festival.
Also,
Oh.
that storm picture that you have right behind you is beautiful.
That's yeah. That was when I worked for the newspaper. It actually won an award from the Associated Press for spot news photography, and this is a gust front that was rolling into northern Denton County. I shot sitting on top of Loop 288 in the bed of my pickup truck when I shot that.
Oh my god! I mean, you can
gorgeous.
see TWU
Mhm,
right there.
mhm, mhm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I like all kinds of storms. And I always I have a thing about silhouettes and shadows. This was on North Lakes Park, and I wanted to capture the reflection and the silhouette and the shadowing. I gave one of these to my best friend, and he told me he kind of liked it better like this. But it kind of works both ways, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Did he
don't
go
know.
to UT?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it kind of looks like a long
Right,
one.
right,
That's
right.
so cool.
Right. So, but I enjoy. We have a real versatile county with all the lakes and ecosystems that we have, and it provides a great palette for nature photographers. And when I'm not doing, I shoot real estate photography to pay the bills. But when I'm not doing that, I go out and find a bird or never let a storm pass.
That's awesome. So I guess when is like the heaviest storm season? April-ish?
Yeah, anytime from March to May is the real true tornado time. But there's also sometimes in October and November when we get when the warm air and the cold air clash.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool.
But,
And so the Holiday Harvest of Art is all put on by the Artists Enclave,
right.
which, it's awesome that you can all take advantage of this group and meet people through that. And how has the Artists Enclave helped each of y'all? Broad question, right?
I've really met some nice people through the Artist Enclave that have helped me try to promote or just understand ways to get people to see my art.
Right.
Randall Good and Susan Davis particularly are very good at organizing events for artists like us so that the public can see local art by local artists and at reasonable prices too. So, I'm really appreciative to them. Kit King is another one that's doing it for the Holiday Harvest of Art, and
Cool.
I worked with her for several years at the newspaper, and looking forward to seeing her again this Sunday.
Well, connecting the
Awesome.
artists to the public is, we spend a whole lot of time working in our studios, and
Right.
sometimes making that leap into the public is difficult. So they're doing a great job making that connection between studio and
Right, because I
the
feel
rest
like
of the world.
your crafts individually, you're alone all the time. You're behind a camera, you're sewing. Maybe if someone, because I know when I sew, and if anyone starts talking to me, I'm like, I don't want to talk right now. I'm like focusing on my lines. Leave me alone. And it becomes kind of like a very solitary in your head craft, when you're focusing
Exactly.
on making something of quality and you're focusing on really, creating something beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's nice that there's a group out there trying to remind people from Denton that there is art in our community. You don't have to go to Dallas to find fine art or quality handcrafted stuff, and it's gotten to where I have to go to Dallas or Fort Worth.
Right.
But the people that graduated right next to me. Yeah, you may see them there when you can see just art on the same quality here in town.
In your hometown.
Yeah, they've been really good with helping me get out and people to see my work. I really appreciate it. I helped with the Joe Williams, the Living Art film. a short
awesome.
film. I helped with that, and I've done 2 shows with them already, and it's nice to have people that are motivated about spreading the word.
Yeah. And I feel one thing that I repeat over and over again here is that living here, there's so many different art venues that you can tap in, from photography to film to art to sculpture to, I mean, absolutely everything. And despite the fact that we are a prominent college town, it's not limited to that. You know, you have like Shelly over at the Dime Store and all those makers that she makes, you know, and it's just from a college student to, I mean, anywhere, you know, everyone's kind of making something, and it's very neat that, you know, that there's this event happening, the Holiday Harvest of Art, and how cool is it that you get to meet face to face with the makers? You know, I feel like that's something that adds a whole other layer of it being so special, is that I can meet the person who made this, you know, like, oh yeah, that art piece in my house. Yeah, that was so-and-so. I've met them. They're really cool. Or, you know, as opposed to just getting something shipped to you.
I think it really, really does make a difference. And I know that my home is filled with items that some are functional and some aren't.
Right.
But every time I pick up a cup made by an artist that I know, I look at that cup and it's different. It's just a different experience using something handmade, that you know what hands it came from, you know the personality that it came from.
Yeah.
And when you pick that object up, you feel this essence of the artist in it. And it's a whole different experience than picking up a Walmart cup.
Exactly.
Nothing against Walmart,
Exactly.
but it's just a whole different kind of experience. And I think we're lucky that we have a community that appreciates that.
And not only that, but just knowing it kind of also makes you feel good about yourself, of like, I'm supporting my neighbor, my local maker, you know, I'm supporting these people who are making things here. I don't need to go to any other outlet. I don't need to look up stock photos. I don't, you know, like I don't need to buy a super beautiful photograph from anywhere else when I have it here. And I feel like I bought Shauna. She sells her stuff at the Dime Store. She makes this really cute baby T-shirts, and I bought one for my friend's baby, and it's like, oh, that's Shauna, and that's on a cute baby, you know? So it's just, I love that everyone supports the arts here, and everyone really truly cares about, you know, shop small.
I agree.
Yep.
So if you're not already convinced on why you should shop small and why you should support your local artist, you should. You'll be seeing these faces at the Holiday Harvest of Art happening at the Denton Women's Club this Sunday, 2 to 6. You can sleep in, still make it. There's going to be live music. You're going to have Polly Maynard. You're going to have the Jet Quartet and the Wesleyan String Ensemble playing. There's free beverages. Complimentary. Either word is still exciting to me. Complimentary is a little bit more fancy. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's absolutely free. You don't need to make any reservations. You don't need a ticket. You don't need a RSVP, nothing. Just show up.
We'd love to see everybody.
Yeah.
And there's such a wide variety of art to choose from.
Yeah, metal, photography.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fibers.
Yeah.
There's going to be oil paintings.
All kinds of everything. Yeah.
Randall
It's
Good's
a great
artwork
list.
is just amazing.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I guess it's also, you'll get to meet these people. You'll get to meet who's making that gift you're giving to your mom, or you get to meet who's making your little grandbaby. You get to meet who took that photograph up on your wall. So,
and we love to meet the people that are in that community that like to see the art.
Exactly.
And
That's
so
what keeps us going.
Yes, it is. It's great.
So it's
Looking
an
forward.
honor speaking to each and every single one of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabel.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to it. Remember, that is Sunday, the 13th, at the Denton Women's Club, 2 to 6.
On Oakland, yes.
Off Oakland, yes. I wasn't sure about that, so I was like, I'm just not going to say it. I'm going to stick to Denton Women's
Right
Club.
next to Emily Fowler Library.
Public
There you
Library.
go. Yeah.
And if they don't know where that is, just where the Jazz and Blues Festival is every year.
Perfect.
There you go.
Right.
Yep. Or Jazz Fest, Arts and Jazz. Yeah. So, thank y'all for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
We're excited. Yeah.